Before Area 51 even existed, the government allegedly transported a 40-foot disc with no damage, no scorch marks, and 4 occupants out to Groom Lake. But the story becomes something else when whistleblowers claim one survivor, known only as J-Rod, did more than live. They say he spoke, worked with US scientists, and revealed a message no one expected. The story begins at Yucca Flat, Nevada, on May 19th, at 5:05 a.m. One test from a larger series called Upshot Knothole was triggered. Only moments after the explosion, a round disc-like craft was spotted dropping quickly from the sky. It moved south toward Las Vegas, before vanishing into the mountains. This was not viewed as a simple test run. Something unexpected occurred, or perhaps something was drawn to the powerful energy released by the nuclear blast. 2 days later, government officials quietly brought together a group of scientists for an unusual mission. Their task was to look into the crash of an unidentified flying craft found near Kingman, Arizona, a town located about 175 miles south of the test site. The short distance between the nuclear explosion and the crash area made the timing feel too close to ignore. A group of 40 engineers boarded a bus and traveled for 3.5 hours from Phoenix to Kingman. When they arrived, it was already dark. The craft was a dish-shaped vehicle about 40 feet wide and appeared completely undamaged. There were no burn marks, no broken surfaces, and no signs of the rough entry that would normally happen in a crash. 4 beings were found with the craft, and both the craft and the beings were moved to Groom Lake. Groom Lake is part of the Area 51 region in Nevada. At that time, Area 51 was only beginning to take shape. The secluded desert location was chosen to keep the craft and the beings hidden from the public. Over time, the entire facility grew around this purpose. Hidden within a ring of mountains in the Nevada desert, Area 51 is a classified military base, long associated with claims of alien technology. Some accounts say a secure facility there once held a survivor of the 1953 Kingman UFO crash, an alien referred to as J-Rod. The name was treated as a designation rather than a personal identity, showing that the government viewed this being as something to be examined and controlled. J-Rod was described as an alien who spent years at Area 51. His role was to assist scientists in studying and understanding technology, said to come from the Kingman crash. He was one of the beings recovered from the site, and reportedly worked directly with government personnel. This suggests not just the study of recovered materials, but a cooperative effort between human researchers and a non-human intelligence capable of guiding them toward advanced scientific knowledge. Captain Bill Uhouse, a former Navy pilot who later tested experimental aircraft for the U.S. Air Force, was assigned to Area 51 in the mid-1960s. He stated that he examined the craft linked to the Kingman crash and had direct interactions with J-Rod. When he shared his experiences, he faced doubt, yet his background and service record made his statements difficult to dismiss. According to Uhouse, there was an extended introduction period before meeting J-Rod. A linguist gave the being the name, and J-Rod communicated by repeating human speech patterns. He attempted to answer questions, and mainly provided engineering or scientific information. This suggests an intelligence able to process human language while relying on mimicry, due to biological limits on producing its own speech. Another whistleblower, Dan Burish, said he was hired as a microbiologist to care for J-Rod and monitor his health for several years. Both Burish and Uhouse stated that J-Rod lived in a controlled underground chamber at Area 51, implying that he had biological needs, possible sensitivity to Earth-based microbes, or unique cellular traits requiring close observation. J-Rod, the insectoid being, said he originated from humanity's distant future. He claimed that a major disaster would strike Earth, leaving much of the population destroyed and causing the surviving humans to split into 2 separate evolutionary paths. One group would move underground, where darkness, limited resources, and extreme conditions would drive biological changes over thousands of generations, resulting in an insectoid appearance. This idea closely matches the traditional stories of the Hopi, Zuni, and Navajo. Their legends describe a transition between the third and fourth worlds, when the surface of the earth became unlivable, forcing people to seek shelter underground with beings they called the Ant People. These parallels raise an unsettling possibility. J-Rod may not be an extraterrestrial visitor, but a future version of humanity shaped by survival beneath the earth. The overlap between these ancient accounts and modern testimony creates a striking connection that is difficult to ignore. Did you like this video? Don't just stop at the like button. If you're watching on your phone, hit that hype too. It helps the channel out, and I'm excited to continue bringing you more awesome content. And now, continue. Long before Area 51 became known to the public, a Native American tribe in the western United States told a story about life beneath the earth. The Hopi people, one of the oldest cultures still surviving today, believe human history is divided into separate ages. Each age ends in destruction, and the next rises from what is left behind. In the era they call the Third World, humanity was nearly wiped out by wars, fires, floods, and chaos. According to Hopi tradition, some survived by moving underground with the help of mysterious beings called the Ant-Men. These beings were described as having dark skin, large heads, big eyes, and long thin limbs. They protected humans, offered food, and taught them how to live below the surface. They rarely appeared above ground and only during times of great need. Stories about the being known as J-Rod, said to have lived in the S4 area, show notable similarities. J-Rod's insect-like features, large eyes, pale skin, and underground environment resemble the Hopi description of the Ant-Men. This brings up the possibility that the legend may reflect an ancient memory rather than pure myth. The physical traits also align in striking ways. Enlarged skulls suggest advanced thinking. Large eyes fit low-light conditions. Thin limbs suit narrow underground spaces. Skin color reflects life away from sunlight. These details connect closely with both Hopi accounts and modern descriptions of J-Rod. Some believe the Ant-Men may be memories of past visitors or beings from a distant future. The Hopi may have preserved traces of a story forgotten elsewhere. When legends and modern reports match so closely, the line between myth and history becomes unclear. There is also the idea that time may not move in a straight line. If future humans learned to travel to the past, they could have appeared during key periods. Ancient people, lacking scientific understanding, would describe them through cultural beliefs. In this view, the Ant-Men may be humans from another time helping ensure survival. The Hopi are not alone in such stories. Many cultures describe beings who came from the sky or emerged from the earth during times of crisis. Sumerian accounts of the Anunnaki, Egyptian figures with elongated heads, and South American tales of sky visitors all share similar themes. These traditions may point to the same concept: beings from another era guiding humanity away from disaster. Is it possible that the United States government has interacted with beings like J-Rod and other non-human visitors since the 1950s? Some UFO researchers claim that extraterrestrials have not only been kept at secret facilities, but have even met with American presidents inside the Pentagon. One of the most detailed accounts involves a visitor known as Valiant Thor. This story comes from Frank Strange's, a chaplain who said he held top-secret clearance, giving him access to information far beyond the public domain. According to his account, in 1957, a UFO landed in Virginia near Washington, D.C. Police officers responded, and a human-like man stepped out, requesting to meet President Eisenhower. He was taken to the Pentagon and soon arranged a meeting with the president. During their conversation, he expressed concern about the growing use of nuclear weapons. The context is important. In 1957, the Cold War was intensifying, and both the United States and the Soviet Union were rapidly expanding their nuclear stockpiles. The threat of global destruction was very real. If an advanced civilization was monitoring Earth, this would be a moment when intervention might be expected. The idea presented was that Valiant Thor acted much like an ambassador, advising Eisenhower and other officials on important matters. This raises the possibility that an extraterrestrial representative might have influenced major decisions, similar to how nations exchange envoys across the world. Frank Strange's claimed that Valiant Thor stayed at the Pentagon for 3 years, living in a secure apartment and meeting with high-level officials, military leaders, and members of Congress. His mission was said to be one of guidance, offering scientific and philosophical insights meant to help humanity avoid disaster. This account raises significant questions about secrecy and hidden contact. If such a meeting took place, what other discussions or agreements might have occurred behind closed doors? How many interactions, technologies, or warnings could have been exchanged without the knowledge of the public whose future depends on these decisions? Back in Burbank, California, in June 1943, during the height of World War II, the government pushed the Lockheed Aircraft Corporation to create a new generation of military jets. Under engineer Clarence Kelly Johnson, the team delivered the first P-80 Shooting Star in only 143 days, launching the jet era for the United States. Johnson's secret development group later became known as Skunk Works. Johnson led Skunk Works through the 1950s and 1960s, and remained involved until 1975. He designed the U-2 spy plane, capable of flying at 80,000 feet with advanced photographic systems. His work made him a major figure in aviation, and his designs reshaped military reconnaissance. Despite his strong professional reputation, Johnson became the central witness in a well-documented UFO sighting in Agoura, California, on December 16, 1953. His report and drawings were included in Project Blue Book, the government's official UFO investigation. He and several colleagues saw an object that he could not link to any known aircraft or technology. Johnson was not an inexperienced observer. As one of the most skilled aeronautical engineers of his time, he stated clearly that the craft he saw moved in ways that defied normal physics, accelerating instantly and making sharp turns at extreme speeds. These characteristics suggested a form of propulsion far beyond conventional engineering. During a period when reporting UFO sightings could damage a career, Johnson still submitted his account. Surprisingly, he soon played a major role in selecting the location for what would become Area 51. In 1955, he identified a remote valley in Nevada as the ideal site due to its isolation, surrounding mountains, and the dry lakebed that offered a natural runway. With no public roads or commercial flight paths nearby, the location was perfect for secret operations. The official explanation is that Area 51 was created to develop the U-2 reconnaissance aircraft. While true, this may not cover everything. The U-2 program provided a public reason for activity at the base, while more advanced research could continue in deeper restricted areas. Conventional aircraft tests served as a convenient explanation for unusual sightings, while classified projects, possibly involving non-human technology, remained hidden in underground facilities. On March 17, 2018, in Rachel, Nevada, near the border of Area 51, researcher Wolf McCarran and mining expert Christian Gronow examine claims of tunnels beneath the base. They believe the Tempe mine and several other Nevada sites have been used to support a large underground expansion at Area 51. Christian Gronow has mined in the region since 1992 and knows the geology well. He has observed signs that do not match normal mining work. He argues that the visible surface structures at Area 51 reflect only the early decades of activity. Since then, most operations have moved underground, far from satellite or public observation. A major question is where the excavated material goes. Gronow says it is taken to nearby mines and processed through heap leaching, a method that piles ore into huge mounds and runs chemicals through it to dissolve rock. This process reduces large amounts of material to a small volume, allowing the disposal of excavation waste without attracting attention. If the government uses heap leaching to eliminate spoil from underground construction, local mines would likely cooperate. These sites already process gold, silver, and lead, and accepting outside material can be profitable. Miners extract whatever valuable minerals remain and avoid asking questions. Underground space offers advantages for classified work, including protection from surveillance and outside interference. For research involving experimental propulsion, advanced energy systems, or unusual materials, a controlled subterranean environment is ideal. Some researchers believe Area 51 continues to grow downward, forming part of a vast system of interconnected underground bases. What began as Cold War pressure to create secure shelters evolved into a deeper network used for research, storage, and sensitive military activity. There are also claims of a hidden transport system linking major sites. A high-speed underground route is said to run from Cheyenne Mountain in Colorado Springs through facilities in New Mexico, including Dulce, Los Alamos, Albuquerque, and Roswell, before reaching Area. Such a system would allow rapid and discreet movement of personnel, equipment, and confidential materials between distant locations. If these tunnels exist, they would support large-scale classified work across multiple sites. Evidence could be moved quickly, and operations could continue through national emergencies or surface-level threats. The technology to build such systems already exists, raising the question of whether it has been used on a scale the public has never seen. Back at Beale Air Force Base in 1967, U.S. Air Force Captain David Fruehauf joined the elite pilots of the SR-71 program. The aircraft could cross the country in an hour, fly above 85,000 feet, and sustain speeds over Mach 3. Flying it required exceptional skill and top-level clearance, and Fruehauf considered the unit a close family. The SR-71 remains one of the most advanced planes ever built, able to outrun missiles and cover continents faster than most commercial flights. With these credentials, it was no surprise when Fruehauf was later assigned to the nation's most secretive base. He worked at Area 51 from 1979 to 1985, already holding the high security clearance needed for the transfer. Fruehauf and his colleagues commuted daily from Las Vegas to Area 51 on Janet Airlines, a classified government carrier. According to engineer T.D. Barnes, workers on these flights would not know if UFOs were being studied because the windows were blacked out and discussions were forbidden. Cameras were banned, and passengers were separated on arrival based on their clearance and project roles. Compartmentalization was absolute. Fruhoff noticed that a select group of scientists and military personnel took the same Janet 737 each morning, but were transported by bus to a more restricted site, known as S4. Workers at Area 51 knew S4 existed, but had no idea what was done there. The separation was intentional, creating deeper layers of secrecy within the already classified base. Fruhoff never knew the purpose of S4, but years later, when he heard Bob Lazar describe traveling to Area 51 on a Janet 737 and then being taken to S4, every detail matched his own experience. The procedures, layout, and strict secrecy all aligned with what Fruhoff had seen firsthand. Critics argue that no verified eyewitness has ever confirmed Lazar's presence at Area 51 or S4. Fruhoff disagrees, claiming former co-workers later told him they had seen Lazar at the base. He believes the backlash against Lazar stems from the fear that revealing UFO-related research could expose technologies the government wants to keep hidden. If Lazar's account is true, it suggests the U.S. government has possessed extraterrestrial technology for years and has concealed this from the public. Accepting his claims would mean acknowledging a long-standing cover-up involving some of the most secret programs in American history. On June 17, 2014, in Tucson, Arizona, Boyd Bushman, a senior scientist at Lockheed Martin with decades of experience and 27 patents, recorded a video confession shortly before his death. He claimed that during his work at Lockheed Martin, he met individuals with top clearance at Area 51 who provided him with materials he believed were extraterrestrial technology. According to Bushman, he received pieces of UFOs and studied their components, which he said included cesium, germanium, and palladium. He also stated that these materials were arranged in ways that produced anti-gravity effects he could not fully reproduce. Bushman further claimed that extraterrestrials were assisting government scientists. He described them as about 5 feet tall, with large eyes, different facial features, and human-like hands and feet. He said at least 18 such beings were present at the facility. The physical descriptions he gave match many other accounts of alleged non-human entities reported at secret bases. This consistency raises questions about whether multiple witnesses observed something real, or whether a shared cultural idea influenced their testimony. When the video was released, many dismissed it as a hoax, yet Bushman had little reason to fabricate such claims. Near the end of his life, with a long career already established, he stood to gain nothing from revealing this information. If anything, the risk was to his reputation. His final statements revive long-standing claims of reverse engineering exotic technology and possible extraterrestrial involvement in classified projects. Bushman presented his account as a final disclosure, a secret he felt obligated to share before his death, suggesting that the rapid technological breakthroughs of recent decades may have origins far beyond conventional research. Much of the modern digital world is linked, according to some researchers, to recovered extraterrestrial craft and technology kept hidden by the government. They argue that the rapid growth of the 21st century is built on ideas that did not originate solely from human innovation. For most of human history, technological progress was slow and spread across centuries. Then, within a single lifetime, advancement accelerated dramatically. Many point out that the last 70 years have seen more progress than the previous 5,000. This sudden rise coincides with reported UFO crashes such as Roswell and Kingman, a timing that raises questions. Breakthroughs like integrated circuits, fiber optics, lasers, stealth technology, night vision, and advanced materials all emerged after these alleged recoveries. While credited to human ingenuity, some believe these developments stem from reverse engineering non-human devices. This leads to the idea that some of this technology may have been intentionally or unintentionally left for humanity. If militaries around the world have gained knowledge from crashed craft, it could suggest that extraterrestrials wanted us to access it. The possibility that advanced civilizations are monitoring Earth raises further questions. If they can travel great distances or through time, the crashes may not be simple accidents but intentional transfers meant to guide human progress. In Langley, Virginia, on August 15, 2013, the CIA declassified documents acknowledging the existence of Area 51 after decades of denial. The release came only after a Freedom of Information Act request that took over 10 years. The admission confirmed what the public and researchers had long suspected, though it revealed only the minimum required information. Since 1955, Area 51 has served as the center for highly classified military projects, including the U-2 and F-11-17 programs. Many believe, however, that the base also conceals evidence of extraterrestrial technology. The government's acknowledgement did not address rumors of crashed UFOs or recovered alien craft, leaving many convinced that the secrecy remains intact. Observers near the base have reported unusual aerial phenomena for years. These sightings include objects making instant accelerations, sharp turns at extreme speeds, and silent hovering with no visible propulsion. Such characteristics do not match known aircraft or natural events, fueling theories that reverse-engineered craft may be tested there. Researcher Giorgio Tsoukalos sought answers by meeting with T.D. Barnes, a former Area 51 engineer who kept his work secret from his own family for nearly 50 years. Barnes specialized in radar systems during the Cold War and emphasizes the extreme level of compartmentalization required at the base. Barnes explained that the military has long pursued advanced technologies far ahead of public awareness. He referenced kinetic bombardment systems developed in the 1980s involving tungsten rods dropped from orbit at extreme speeds. Such programs suggest a technological lead spanning decades beyond what is publicly acknowledged. Barnes also described seeing unusual aircraft at Area 51, including wingless, unconventional craft unlike any known jet or drone. When asked about warp drives, anti-gravity systems, or antimatter propulsion, he stated that research in these fields is active and advancing rapidly. If true, these claims indicate that Area 51's purpose extends far beyond traditional aircraft testing. They suggest a long-standing effort to explore propulsion and physics at a level far more advanced than the public realizes, supported by deep secrecy and decades of classified development. J-Rod were from the 38. If J-Rod were from the future, the most striking part of the story is not the being's appearance or intelligence, but its claim, "I am from Earth, but in the future." If the catastrophe it described has not yet happened in our timeline, then we may be living in the period before humanity divides and retreats underground. Our choices about nuclear weapons, climate, biological research, and artificial intelligence could determine whether that future becomes real, or whether a different path is possible. The ideas surrounding Area 51, J-Rod, and the nature of the visitors people report suggest something deeper than contact with beings from another world. They raise the possibility that we may be encountering future humans who are reaching back through time to warn us and help ensure our survival. If so, the real question may not be whether we are alone, but whether we can understand and act on the message our future selves may be trying to send before it is too late. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to ring the bell, share it with your friends, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you want to continue exploring the world's most mysterious places, check out my video on Chernobyl, where life always finds a way, even in the most impossible circumstances. Click on the tag on the screen now. Enjoy the video. Thanks for being with us. Leave a comment, like to show your support, and remember to hit that subscribe button for more exciting videos. See you next time.